How you been?
Oh, hanging in there, trying
Yeah.
to stay away as long as, stay away from all the stuff you're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
We spent 2 days down at the beach last weekend when it was so hot.
Oh, nice. I bet you it was hot though.
We go down fishing when it gets hot.
Very nice. Very nice. You catch any, did you go out into the pier or did you go deep sea fishing?
Usually we go to Harbor Island, you just fish off the shore,
And
or off of Mission Bay, down off of, down by the Dana Inn.
you catch anything?
You usually catch something. You catch quite a few of these little spotted bass.
Okay. Very nice.
When you fish over on the harbor, you catch a lot of stingrays, which I had one bad experience with a stingray. So I'm very, very cautious when it comes to stingrays these days.
I have never been stung by a stingray, but I've been on too many trips to the beach with friends where a stingray's been involved, and it's no fun.
I caught one that was probably maybe 5 inches long,
Yeah.
which you wouldn't think would be very big. And I'd caught these before.
Yeah.
And when I was trying to take the hook off, and it whipped its tail around and hit me right here in my hand, my left hand, right by the thumb.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing hurt and throbbed for, into the night. I really was starting to get concerned, but it finally got better. So anyway, I wear gloves and I step on the tail if I catch one of those anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
With my shoes on.
Yes, you're right. Right. Hey, well, thanks for coming on, being our second guest on the Get to Know You podcast video forum that we're doing for the
Thanks
club.
for asking me.
Happy to have you. I wanted to get things kicked off and just start with asking you about how Rotary has changed since you were first a Rotarian, and then where you see Rotary going in the future, and your thoughts about maybe the present state of Rotary.
Well, when I first joined Rotary, it was us male Rotarians and they're Rotarians.
Okay.
That's how they were referred to as Rotarians.
Okay.
And, so it was all men. But, I first joined back in 1984, I guess is when I first got in.
Okay.
I got inducted or got the police chief. I think he was police chief, Bob Wolford. I think he was chief of police.
Okay.
Anyway, he's the one that got me to get into Rotary. So, it was great. And, it was a lot of good camaraderie. And we always did a lot of projects. And at one point, our membership, I think was, when I was in it, I think it was up to mid 40s, something like that.
Okay.
And so, it was a lot easier to get participation from people because there was more of a pool to draw from.
Okay.
And then I dropped out in the end of 2001 because that's when I changed jobs and started working up in Temecula. So
Okay.
I dropped out of that club here. Looked at the clubs up there a little bit, but I just didn't have the right feeling, so I didn't do it.
Okay.
So when I retired in 2011, starting to think things to do, and it took me a year, but I decided, well, maybe I should get back into Rotary. So I came back into Escondido Rotary.
Okay. Very nice.
I think, obviously women have joined over the years, which has been a big plus.
Yeah.
I think they've become very active and done a lot of good things for our club and all the clubs.
Okay.
And so obviously that's the biggest change that's happened. Going forward, from our club, I don't know. I just see, we're kind of dwindling in size, obviously.
Yeah.
As far as membership, so we're going to have to figure out a way to maintain, I guess.
Yeah, and that's something that I've been thinking about, something that's been on my mind. It's very hard to keep that enthusiasm for membership up when the world keeps throwing wrenches in the wheel all the time. Absolutely. Like this.
Absolutely.
So we've been experimenting with some new things, like on Wednesday nights for people that are comfortable with coming out and doing a social distanced live session. We go out to do the happy hours on Wednesday nights, and then on Fridays we do every other Friday we do the in-person meetings. But I'm just always scratching my head as how to keep something fresh coming to really drive that enthusiasm for meetings, even though we can't really be the way that we used to right now.
Yeah, you're in a tough spot.
I certainly am. Yeah. But you know,
brand new Rotarian, and it can't be much worse of a situation than what you're in. And you're doing a good job. I want to say that, but I know it's got to be tough.
well, it's definitely tough, but looking at it from my point of view, I like a good challenge, and I like something that keeps me engaged like this. If the meetings were every Friday as usual, then it'd be easier to turn on the autopilot and kind of just let things steer themselves in a way. But sometimes you'll have a month where there'll be a speaker that can't do in person, so you got to figure out how to get them on Zoom, or figure out how to fill that gap with somebody else, and kind of these last minute changes. And it drives a little bit of excitement, and you never know what to expect, so you can never go to sleep on it, and it keeps it exciting, keeps the job exciting.
And that's why it's good to have a president that's very tech savvy.
Well, I don't know that I'd call myself particularly tech savvy, but I do know how to work my way around Zoom, so that's a plus.
Well, that's good. That's an important medium these days.
It really is. I mean, all of my university classes and everything I do for my job, and everything that I do for Rotary is all pretty much conducted within the walls of this room right here in this computer. So Zoom is a very handy tool. My mom was talking about it. She doesn't know how going back to school really would have worked 10 years ago when we didn't have anything like this.
Oh, I don't think so. And it'll be interesting to see how much of it we stick with the Zooming when all this is said and done.
Yeah. I got to say, from going back to class full time on Zoom, I really wish that I could be back in the classroom. Not that the professors aren't doing a good job and everything, but I really think that once this pandemic is over, that there's just a lot of value lost from actually not being in the flesh in the classroom. So I think that in class, real class is a good thing.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Substitute.
Being able to interact with other people.
It is, yeah. Hey, well, I wanted to ask, I think once upon a time when I was driving down Grand Avenue, I saw you were on one of the banners on Grand Avenue, on one of those hometown hero banners. Is that correct?
Well, I was on one of those banners, hero, let's not go down that road. No, that's all the handiwork of Don Derrick.
Okay.
He happened to know somebody at the superintendent's office or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And I went to Orange Grant High School. So in fact, I started out there my freshman year. Was the first year they opened up back in '62. Okay. So I'm a local guy, local kid, graduated from Orange Grant High School. And I don't know, somehow he talked to these people, and they said, sure, we'll put his picture up there. So that's how I got there.
So that's the story, because I drove, one night, I actually, I don't remember, but you and your wife were coming out of the movies in Escondido. You just saw, I forget what movie it was, but we saw each other in the parking lot. And I meant to ask you then, because I had seen you driving down to the movie theater on the banner, but it slipped my mind, and it's bugged me ever since, because I wanted to know how you got up there.
Yeah, like I say, it's more Don Derrick's doing than mine.
Well, it's funny to know, because last week we didn't have a keynote speaker for the club meeting, and so I put together a trivia game for us to play about the club's history and about different club members and different stuff that I knew that maybe other people didn't know. And one of the questions was, which of these club members was most recently featured on a Grand Avenue banner? And of course, once upon a time, Lori Filer was up there as well. Right. And I put her name on there, and my mom's name, and someone else's name, and your name. And only 2 people guessed and got your answer right. And they're like, Darol was up there? I said, yes, he was. Darol was on the hometown hero banner.
See, people just don't pay attention. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's good to know, because everyone was like, what did he do? We got to know. What did he do? So I said I'd ask you in our meeting today, because everyone was chomping at the bit to know what you did.
Yeah, so, I think it's primarily because I local graduate.
Very nice.
That did somewhat good.
Yeah. Hey, well, that still counts. It got you up there. So that
got me up there.
That's right. I also wanted to ask, maybe what's something that you haven't told the club about yourself that maybe club members don't know in general about you that you'd want to share?
I missed that part. You were kind of cutting out there.
I saw you cut out as well. I was just asking, when I do these interviews, I like to try to find out something about the person I'm interviewing that maybe the club hasn't heard before, some piece, a little nugget that people haven't heard about you. You got anything that you haven't told the club about that you want to share?
Well, we had that game earlier in the year where I forget what the questions were. Say a question or something that wanted the club to guess what you were lying about, I guess, or not telling the truth.
Okay.
And one of those items there was the fact that I said, well, when when I was in high school, I took accordion lessons when I was younger.
Okay.
From about the 5th grade on, all the way through high school, actually. And there used to be a festival, a Western States Accordion Festival up in Long Beach. I think it was in the summertime. So I went up there a couple times as an individual, and then as a member of a quartet and duet. And I won a couple trophies up there. So
very nice.
Which I don't have anymore. But
hey, well,
I still have the accordion though.
Well, every Valentine's Day, Scott Peck comes and plays to the club.
Don't
want to get up there with him sometime and play the accordion along with help with the serenade.
We don't want to go down that road. It's been so long since I picked up. I don't think I begin to be able to figure out how to make it work or make real music come out of it.
Well, I would be totally lost myself, so you probably know better than me. I wouldn't know the first thing about accordion playing.
Well, but like I say, I took lessons for 8 years, so I used to know quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously, accordion playing was a hobby at one point. You got any hobbies that you maintain now?
Well, I was pretty heavy into running there for a long time.
Yeah.
And in fact, I ran my first marathon back in 1980, I think.
Okay.
And just because I've been doing a lot of running, I just, you know how these things work. You run a 5K, then a 10K, then a half marathon. I say, well, I got to give this a try. So I did that. I did okay. So I did that maybe 4 times. And then when I turned 50, I decided, well, maybe I'd try and do that again. So I started training, and I went down and ran in the rock and roll marathon.
Okay.
And didn't do as well as I did, but of course it had been 15 years had gone by, so I guess you got to factor that in, no matter what kind of condition you're in.
Yeah, 15 years makes a difference.
So that was fine. So I did that, and then it's kind of in 2000, I ran for city council.
Okay.
And I thought had a good chance to get in anyway. Bottom line, I didn't get elected, but when it was all said and done, I said, well, okay, so now what am I going to do with all my time? So I just said, well, I guess I'll get back to running. So that's what I did. So ended up running 27 marathons after the age of 50.
Wow, very nice.
Retired. Boston 2012, I guess was the last one I ran.
You ran in the Boston Marathon?
Yeah, twice. 2011 and 2012.
How was that?
Oh, 2011 was great.
Yeah.
Like the bucket list accomplishment.
Bucket list accomplishment, yeah.
And that was supposed to be my last one. That was going to be 30. But then I qualified for the following year. So I said, well, geez, if you qualify, you got to go.
You got to do it. Yeah, you can't just turn down the
So I go back. Unfortunately, it was really hot that year. And they thought, I think they seriously thought about canceling it.
Yeah.
But, since most of the people that run in Boston have to qualify, I think they concluded, well, these people kind of know what they're doing. So we'll let them make up their mind if they want to run or not. So they said, okay, you can run, or if you don't feel comfortable, you can come back the next year in 2013, and they just automatically enter you. Yeah, I think there was about 4,500 people that decided not to run, and that it was miserable. It was hot. It was the worst experience I've ever had.
Yeah,
but it was done. But in hindsight, because Linda and I were sitting there at dinner the night before, and everybody was talking about this. I said, I'm not going to wait another year to do this again. This is it. So I'm going to go for it. So I did. Well, I was fortunate because the next year, of course, is when the bomb went off.
Oh, my goodness.
2013.
Yeah.
So I wasn't there for that. Thank God.
Yeah, really. I was just thinking about that in the back of my head because I knew it was around that time. I just didn't remember what year it was. So yeah, that's very lucky that you weren't there.
Yeah. And then last year, a year ago, April, because they didn't have it this year, my grandson, who had just turned 18, he qualified. So we went back to see him run.
Very nice.
that was pretty cool. Other than obviously the security has drastically changed
Oh, I'm sure.
since when I was there and the way it is today.
I'm sure, yeah. But I mean, that's really cool. You got to pass down through the family now. Your
Yeah,
grandson.
actually, it was kind of cool because then my son Kevin, he put together a picture for Father's Day that year, and it showed a picture of me crossing the finish line and a picture of Sean crossing the finish line.
Very
And
nice.
he had some slogan on the thing. It was kind of cool. Yeah, pretty cool.
Well, I just think it's awesome. You said you finished 27 marathons after the age of 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great. There's a guy on a big podcaster that I listen to. His name's Joe Rogan. He's really into health and fitness, but one of the things that he's always preaching is that you need to keep yourself active, especially when you get past 50. And a lot of people don't have that drive anymore to go out there and work out like they used to, and keep up that same athleticism that they had when they were younger. And it's like, it's just so awesome to hear that you went and actually competed in 27 real marathons after 50.
Well, I have to correct you on one thing.
Okay.
I had no athleticism when I was younger.
So this is something you got as you moved along in life.
I
Then.
mean, I wasn't fast. I just got out there and run. That's all I was doing.
Well, I would argue though that there is at least some athleticism in the fact that you had that drive to go do that, whereas
Well,
other people would have just sat on their couch, right?
that's true. I can't today. I can't see myself doing it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean to have that drive to go out and do that after 50 years old and go, pound the pavement like that, that's something not a lot of people can say.
Obviously, I had a whole lot of time on my hands.
Hey, well, you don't. Yeah, it's better than filling it by sitting on the couch
That's
watching
true.
TV.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So you said you were into fishing. You ever go in any of these big national parks or anything? Go fishing up there, or go any place exotic?
We've been going up to the Sierras, up to a place called June Lake, north of Mammoth.
I'm familiar. Yeah.
I started going up there when I was 7 years old. In fact, we're supposed to go up there next year, or next week. But I saw in the paper Monday where they closed all the campgrounds, the forest campgrounds. Not that we camp, we always stay in a cabin, but I don't know what impact that's having on everything else.
Well,
so I don't know if we're going to make it this year. But anyway, we've been doing that for years and years and years.
They've got a lot of BLM land out there, run by the Bureau of Land Management, and I know that all BLM land is still open to camp on. So if you were willing to pitch a tent, you could probably find yourself a bit of dirt to pitch a tent on out there.
Yeah, like I say, we always stay in a cabin, so that's not
It's a little bit of a downgrade.
Yeah, but whether or not it affects our ability to fish, that's the real question.
I'm sure you could find a hotel though. Find a hotel and be able to go up there and fish like you usually do.
I would think so. I'll call them up there here in a couple of days just to see what's going on.
Yeah. I love going up. I mentioned it when I was talking to Lloyd, but I love going up to the Sierra. It's one of my favorite places to go hike and just be because of just the beauty of the nature of it.
Absolutely.
It's such an impressive place to be.
Very much so.
Hey, well, thank you so much for coming on, Darol. I really appreciate it. I know that I gotta get the recording finished up here, but I really want to thank you for coming on and answering the questions and being our second participant in this new series that we're running for the club.
Well, thank you for asking me. Maybe somebody will watch this.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they will. Actually, last time with Lloyd's, we got 32 people to watch it, which is just about everybody on our emailing list.
Oh, that's right.
That's an honorary member.
The whole club.
And you were a recommended a recommended interview for me, so a lot of people wanted to hear what you had to say, and I think it really stems from the fact that a lot of people right now are feeling like they're lonely in their house, and they wish they could get to know people better and get out and go to meetings and have that camaraderie with their club members that they usually would, but they can't right now. So this little look into everybody's life that you normally wouldn't get to see is very refreshing for them. And I think people are connecting to that in a way. So I'm sure plenty of people from our club will be watching this.
Well, I think it's a good idea. And you're doing a good job, Logan. Keep up the good work.
Well, thanks, Darol. And I hope you have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you around.
Okay. Take care.
Yep. See you, Darol.
Okay.